What's up, everybody? I think Monero could be one of the best choices for an altcoin pick. Remember, not financial advice, but I'm going to show you why that is. If you look at the rest of the market, it's pretty much down today. I mean, we had some pretty big carnage over the last week or so. Coins breaking down. I mean, just look at SHIB here. You can see completely we have this structure in here and we completely broke down. So it's going to take a little bit to fix itself, if it is going to fix itself, right? And I just put a video out just 10 minutes ago. So go watch that video. I deep dive into a couple altcoins, especially THETA. So definitely check that out. But essentially, this video is going to be talking about Monero and a little bit of XRP and why Monero and XRP look to be in still pretty decent positions for different reasons, versus something like, for example, THETA, where it's going to need a little bit of work here. If you look at this screenshot here, you could see THETA and XRP kind of together, right? You can see a rise, crash, retrace, triangle, triangle, hit the low, create a structure, and then let's go. You could see, THETA looks to be following XRP, which is actually a good thing, right? Not a bad thing. So we could be in for some grueling times ahead. Unless, of course, we were talking about THETA. If this is 3, 3, and 3, if this is a completed WXY, maybe another hit to the low, maybe another hit to the low, right? But all in all, it could be finishing up here soon, and then we could be taking off. So this is a big impulse with a three-way pullback and then continue taking off. Otherwise, we might have something a little bit more grueling in time relation, something that takes a lot longer, like what XRP did. Not obviously, you're looking at different time frames. This is the weekly chart. This is the daily chart. So it's going to definitely be different. But speaking of XRP, look at that daily candle right there. That is very bullish. That is a bullish hammer candle following a three-way pullback. So you have an impulse, you have a three-way pullback, and then you have that bullish hammer candle to top it off. Looks really good. The reason I'm talking about Monero, because if you look, Monero's one of the, look at that. We're up 3% on over Bitcoin here. XRP's up, and Monero itself is also up 4% today. While, like, for example, Chainlink is down 4%. So if you look at the difference, and again, this comes to the reason why, because if you look at Monero, right, versus something like Chainlink, and let me just put it on, let's see here, or let's just go to even Solana, right? So if you look, this run-up is the same run-up as here, right? They both pulled back. They both kind of built a little bit of a base. But Solana's already almost ripping and roaring, right? But I think Monero has a longer or more of a chance to compete with Monero as far as percentage terms. Because if you look at, for example, let's take another coin here. Let's look at, let's see. Let's pick a good one here. I guess ADA would be all right. If you look at ADA, it didn't, have this big accumulation structure, right? So you have a big rise, crash, retrace, you come down, reaccumulation. This took 7+ years, right? This, just recently happened, right? So if you look at the cursor, you could see this wave is relation to this wave. So they both kind of have their little consolidation boxes. But the difference is this has a rise and a crash before all of this in here. So it has more structure. See, it has the V, and then it has the rectangle. Well, this only has half a V and no rectangle, but, you know, barely, right? So anyways, I'm just kind of showing you the differences in the structure of the chart. But you have to understand, like, if Monero is going to break out, you're most likely going to see a breakout in 88. So they're both going to be about the same. The reason why I like it better is because of the way it's shaped. The shape is really beautiful. I mean, it's probably the best looking shape I've seen other than XRP as far as the entire structure. Speaking of XRP, when you look at XRP and you compare it, or even XLM, one moment here, let's look at XMR, and we compare that to XRP. Where's my big chart? There it is. Perfect. And let's take all this off. And I've shared this many times before, but you can see very clearly what we have here. Now, if we zoom out to the 2-week chart, you could see they're very similar, right? They got a little thing going here, big move up, boom, 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 boom. Difference is XRP's already broken out. Monero's barely coming out, right? So that could be a good thing as far as percentages. So yeah, I don't care about Monero. I mean, Monero's a privacy coin. I have to think to myself, what would be the narrative as to why people are pushing into privacy? Could it be the deep state, right? Trying to do their final transactions before they go down. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know about that, but it's kind of interesting. So, anyways, yeah, I just wanted to come out and explain that Monero looks pretty dang interesting in my opinion. Now, I could be wrong. This is not financial advice. We could easily go down, and that would be very surprising to me, but at the same time, it wouldn't, because the rest of the market looks bearish. Like, I wish the rest of the market looked bullish. Now, same thing with Litecoin. Litecoin also has that same look to it. You know, the chart continues more on, but you basically have the structure here. You broke out, you're retesting it. But if you look at like Algorand, for example, you know, it doesn't have anywhere near the same structure as, for example, Monero would. You know what I mean? So now when you look at Monero versus Bitcoin, it also looks pretty dang good. I mean, this is the 2-week chart here, and you have massive bullish divergence on the 2-week chart. I mean, that's pretty insane to me. So I mean, that's even worthy of a screenshot there. I mean, just look at that there. You could see boom and boom. So we don't really have a lot of structure down here, but it wouldn't surprise me if we start heading up a little bit higher, maybe sideways a little bit, build a little bit of a structure in here, and then start breaking above it, getting back up to here in the not too distant future, hopefully. So yeah, Monero versus Bitcoin looks good. If we look at, you know, the smaller time frames here, just looking at the market cap, you can also see what I really wanted to show you. Here's kind of the grand finale here is this fractal right here. If we look, you know, it's not the greatest of fractals, but it kind of illustrates what I'm trying to explain here. right? You kind of got this dump here. Now you could say that's the dump or that's the dump. But then it kind of grinds back up here and it kind of gets into this little area, right? And you could see right in there actually. Actually, if we this itself could be a good fractal as well. How you kind of drop down, right? You come back up, and then you go sideways. You drop down, you come back up. Maybe we go sideways a little bit in here. We break out, back test, boom. Same thing that happened over here. Boom, 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 boom. I mean, I think it looks freaking really good, actually. So, there you go. Added a little bit of color to it. So, anyways, I think, yeah, it looks actually pretty good here. If we just kind of look at this little fractal right in here, I mean, it matches up pretty nicely, actually. Originally, I was looking at it like this, but actually, when you look at it closer, it looks pretty good. So, what would be the measured move of this, right? So, if we look at, if we pull some fibs here, I'm not sure where exactly I'd want to pull it. Probably here. You can see we literally hit the 4.236. Look at that. Like pinpoint nailed it. That's very impressive, right? And then back over here, I can pull it down here or down here. Probably there would be okay. The 4.236 extension. Unfortunately, this is the market cap, but essentially it'd be an 8.2 billion market cap. Let me look at the actual price. This is going to be very interesting. XRP or XMR USD. And then let's pull this retracement down approximately right there. So we're looking at $438. That's not too bad. In percentage terms, it's not that much though. I mean, you're only looking at about 100%. So about a 2x, which, in this type of environment where we're seeing a lot of carnage in the market, I mean, just look around, the market's kind of just not doing so good. You know what I mean? So it's really nice to see something like Monero actually looking pretty good right now, right? Because remember where we are too. If we look at the daily, I mean, this thing is a monster structure here. And that little area right there, I mean, you could look at this as Wyckoff, boom, boom, boom. Here's your liquidity grab. Come back up, play around, break out, back test, and now we're sort of on the verge. We could even flag out all the way like this before breaking out. Still be very, 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 very bullish, right? I mean, this thing looks gorgeous. You got this shoulder, or actually you can also look at it from an ascending triangle perspective, right? I also look at it like even 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This could be A, this could be B, and then we could come all the way back down to C, all the way back to like 180, and then go back up, and it'd still be bullish, right? Because I'm not sure, are we ready to break out now, or is this some type of B wave here? So if you look, here's your B, here's your A. Do we need a C? A, B, C, and then go up. Well, if we did, then, so be it. It is what it is, right? So if that's the case, then we want to see a little bit of a base get built in there. So, but yeah, Monero is definitely, in my opinion, one to be watching simply because it, like I said in my last video, XRP went through the valley of death in order to be where it is now, right? It's gone through so much adversity, and that's why we're seeing so much strength. I mean, just look at XRP right? Look at the recent bounce we had compared to the rest of the market. If you look very closely, we're actually coming down pretty hard right now. But basically, we had this big impulse here, much stronger than the rest of the market. So what we want to see now is for it to flag out and then break out later on. So let's see if we get something like that. You know what I mean? So let's see, what else do we have here? Yeah, everything's dumping right now. So look at Theta. Theta's dumping. So, but look at Monero, guys. Monero's really not moving a lot. It's barely moving. So to me, that's a little bit weird, right? Normally, Monero would be dumping right alongside everything else. Look at Litecoin. We're dumping pretty hard. Look at Link. We're dumping hard. XLM, Algorand, Jupiter, Trump, Heart, Bitcoin. Dump, 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 dump. But look at XMR versus Bitcoin. Not too bad. Ethereum Classic also dumping. Everything looks bad, right? So let's just take a regular coin here. What could be happening? Well, again, you have 3 here. This could be 3. And then we have 3 down, right? So that's 3, but I don't like the way it looks, honestly. And then we have another 3 up. Maybe we're getting another 3 down and then another 5 up. So it's kind of, it's just not finished to me. It doesn't look done. It looks like there needs a lot of work in here. If we can develop a base, if we can develop a structure in here, it's going to take at least 2 to 3 weeks for that to happen. And then we can sort of look at that, Now, there is an ultra bullish idea, just like I said with SHIB, like we could see something, kind of play around a little bit and then round out. So we have a structure here. But all we have is a straight line down, a straight line up, and now we're going back down. So there's really nothing to latch onto. So what we have to do is just be patient, stand on the sidelines, and just wait and see how this plays. Because I don't know if is this going to break the low. I mean, it looks like it will because of the way it's coming down. It's coming down very fast. It's not coming down correctively. It's coming down impulsively. And we have to keep that in mind. XRP. Let's look at the 30-minute chart here. So what we want to see for XRP is we want it to hold above these 2 levels. So as long as we stay above $3, that's what we want. So this could be an A. I want to see it come up. Now we've had a pretty big dump. So now I want to see it. We had a 3-wave move down. Or is that 3? We want it to go up into a B wave, right? So if we look closely, we want it to hold support in here, and then we want it to go up in 3, and then maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe taking the low out, having a little bit of divergence, get that flag, that oscillation in here, and then break out. That's exactly what I'd like to see. Which means what? More downside, most likely. All right. So, but if we start breaking below this, like this, and we do that, that's going to be very impulsive. And then we're going to need another B wave and another C wave. It's just going to be bigger, right? The size matters, right? So, we needed to Fibonacci retracement right here. 618 comes in at 286 to 281. So that's like make it or break it right there, right? So preferably hold above 3, but if we have to, 280. So yeah, let's see how that plays out. And then for Monero, Bitcoin dominance is actually going up right now. And that's one thing I forgot to mention is this right here. We could creep up, creep up, creep up. It's actually better that it's happening now, because the two ideas I had with Bitcoin dominance is boom, boom, boom. So boom, 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 boom. And then we have 3 up. So 3 up, 3 down, 3 up, and it becomes 1, 2, 3. So we have an A, 1, 2, 3, B, and then we go down for C, and then we have the big alt season, versus what we're doing now is A, and then we have 1, 2, 3. We come up for a B, and then it's over with, and then we go down for a C. A, B, C, So that means we probably have a little bit more upside here with Bitcoin dominance before we go down. Let's get that 3-wave shape and then break it down. I don't really know how to read that. I mean, it looks like 1, 2's in here. It looks like some running flats. You kind of got that little Bitcoin fractal. There's your descending triangle, your retrace, your COVID dump. And now it looks like we're breaking out here. So, yeah, like ADA, for example, I'm not sure if this is 3, 3, and 3, WXY, or if this is 3, this whole thing is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, and then A, B, C, there's your 2. And then maybe it's not finished though. Maybe it's something like this is your 2. See, it's, you know what I mean? So again, we're going to need to see structure in here. I want to see it go sideways, or I want to see it break the low. I want to see something else, And because of the way it looks, that tells me it's not finished. And if it's not finished, that means we just have to wait and be patient. That's pretty much it, right? Not so hard. I mean, Theta Fuel looks like it's going to break the low, but, it looks like that's following the trend here. How low is it going to go? I mean, that's, it's still bullish, right? I mean, probably this trend line here, I'd like to see this trend line hold, but if we have to, we flush it maybe and then continue higher. So we have time, we have structure that we're waiting for. But, Bitcoin still looks pretty good. It's not dumping as aggressively. Matic looks like it's going to break down, looks horrible. Basically, once we broke these lows in here, I pretty much, I'm on the sidelines for a lot of these coins. I'm not trading, or I'm actually trading, but I'm not holding anything on the long side, except for my XRP and Monero at the moment. Those are the only 2 longs that I have open. I have a couple shorts for hedges, but that's it. I'm just, no trade is better than a bad trade, especially in this environment. So anyways, Monero, I just wanted to highlight Monero. I mean, look at it. It's basically not even part of the same club as everything else. And that's what makes me attracted to it, is that it's not following the rest of the market. It's kind of doing its own thing, and that makes me excited. That tells me something else is going on. So even if we did have to come down, you see how corrective that is? This could be an impulse to the downside, correct up, and then we break down, and then we have that 3-wave shape, and then we go up. That could totally happen. And if we got something like that, that would be a buy the dip opportunity for me. But hopefully we can just, muster our way out and break out. But I just don't know if that's going to be the case if the rest of the market just looks like a basket case, right? I mean, Litecoin looks okay because it had a big pop to the upside. So now it has more distance between this and the bottom, which means it has more wiggle room. So maybe we can flag out in here a little bit, maybe like a little bit of a falling wedge, and then break out, right? So it's, you know, we just have to wait and see how it all plays out. But ultimately, you know, this could be a rise, crash, retrace. We could be in reaccumulation in here and then breakout later on. But I need to see that structure. I want to see a base. I want to see get away from the scene of the crime. I want to see a low hold in. You know what I mean? For example, like see how we were moving down and down and down. And then once we came up here, we built structure in here. You see all of that? That told me, hey, maybe we're holding up in here, right? And then we broke out. We had a three-way pullback. We back tested in here. And then bam, we were off to the races. That's what we want to see here, right? So if I take this and I match it right in here, that's what we want. So anyways, that'll do it for this video. One more thing, targets. Can't be a Monero video without some targets. Look at the monthly chart, guys. The monthly chart is going to end in 3 days, and we are about to enter into February. Well, first of all, Monero had a monthly new high not seen in 3 years, right? And now we have another high not seen. Actually, this high is actually going to break, or this monthly close rather, is going to break above its 2022 April high, which is pretty interesting if we can get it done. And that comes right at 214. So that's why it's been very strong resistance in here. That's why it's kind of been battling up in here. So we see these lines right there. So that's really the big area. I mean, you could see, let me just do this here. You can see all of this resistance right in here. So even if we have to flag out, right, because we've already broken above the range, you know, but we haven't really back tested it on the monthly, but we did on the lower time frames. It's probably enough. But if we had to come down here, whatever. But ultimately, we're looking for upside. And if I just take a little bit of a target here, a trend-based fib extension from the low to the high, you can see we're right here. We just crossed the 1-to-1. The next step up is 258 all the way up to 455 for this wave here. So we have a 1, a 2, and now we're going up into that third wave. Usually the third wave could hit between the 2 and the 3. You flag out here, and then you go up and hit 5, maybe over $500 Monero. So that's one way to look at it. Another way to look at it is by taking this structure here, and we'll put it right about there. I mean, I can actually use the base of the low instead of the wick. Either way, you're looking at, you know, 850 at the 1618. And the next one would be somewhere around the 2618, around $1,300, all the way up to $2,000. So, yeah, looks pretty nuts. But in percentage terms, it's not that much, to be honest, you know? So if we look at that, that's probably, I mean, that's a good maybe 8 or 9x. That's still pretty dang good. The highest it could possibly go would be if I looked at Monero. Well, the way I would do that is I would look at the Monero market cap. So XMR market cap. And then what I would do is I would take this here, and then I would go down. And then what I would do is, okay, so the highest it would go is about 34 billion. That makes sense to me. Now let's see if it makes sense if I go up a little bit more. Okay, the 1618 gets us to 52 billion. That does make sense. Okay, so I can see Monero hitting 52 to 70 billion. I think that's a good number. Okay, so if we go back to XMR, it's not out of the realm of possibility, especially for a stable coin. Monero is the #1 stable coin, privacy coin, the #1 privacy coin. So if we take that and we use a retracement here, okay, it's going to make a big difference between that wick. So I'm gonna do it without the wick, and you're looking at $2,000, guys. $2,000 Monero. Okay, and if I use it with the wick, you're looking at 27 to 35. Big difference, right? Versus what I would do is I would kind of meet it in the middle, and I would use this wick right here. So I think that's fair. I'm trying to be as fair as I can. So you're looking at about $2,200 up to $2,700 right there. I think that's possible. I think that's very possible for Monero. That puts it at about a $50 billion market cap. We'll see. Remember, Monero, there's no more circulating supply, or there's no more outstanding supply, right? Everything, the supply for Monero is all out there. You're not going to have any more, or less, or I mean circulating, right? So yeah, it looks pretty great. So I could take that off, and that's my range. I mean, that looks possible. Just be honest. If I zoom out a little bit, doesn't that look like that's possible to you? If you build this little range in here, you got this cup in here, 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, it's not that far away. You know what I mean? It's not out of the realm of possibility. Now, we are looking at it on log scale, so it's a little bit distorted, but there's your range. And what you do is you just take the bottom of the range, and then you go all the way up to the top, right? And we'll actually move that top right there, and then we'll take this and we're going to put it right there. And that actually goes much higher than the range. That actually gets us to about almost about $4,800, almost $5,000, right? So if we did it on linear scale, it's going to be totally different. I mean, it's not going to even be in the same. It's probably only going to be $1,000. It should only be 1,000 because everything's equal on regular. Yeah, it's not even going to be $1,000. It's probably, and that's why I don't like linear. It just, for crypto, it just doesn't really make sense unless you're looking at the small time frames. But even on linear scale, it looks freaking pretty bullish to me. You got this run up here. Yeah, it looks like a big W pattern. Also, it looks like Bitcoin. Boom, boom, boom. Here's your $14,000 top. Actually broke the top, came back down. Here's your COVID dump. Boom, boom, boom. Right? Just mimicking the Bitcoin fractal. So let's put that back to log scale. So yeah, 2,700, or yeah, 20. We'll just say $2,000. We'll be conservative, and to start it, at 162. I mean, that's a 12x. So, and Monero's not a flashy coin. It's not like SHIB, or it's not like Doge. It's not like Solana or Polygon, or it's not like, hey, flashy, look at me. It's kind of dark. It's kind of like a privacy coin. It's kind of like, it's just under the radar. People know about it. It's popular, but at the same time, it's not popular. So Monero means money. Private, decentralized cryptocurrency that keeps your finances and confidential and secure. So let's just watch.
To most people,
this is the Monero
financial
website.
Privacy is very important. But banks, big corporations, and even governments are having their records compromised. The undeniable conclusion is there's no safe place to conduct.
And this is exactly what I think Monero is going to blow up. This is why I think Monero is doing its own thing, is because, number one, you're having all of these cyber attacks. Remember the word cyber attack, data breaches. You know, look at what happened with the voting log. Look, there's so many cyber attacks that go on. I mean, DeepSeek, that company, they got hit with many cyber attacks. All these banks are going to get, and that's kind of like, I have this epiphany, like, oh my God, I finally get it now. Like, so we have, guys, this could be a big deal, man. I'm not, because we have this situation where the banks need to usher in their CBDC, right? And then you also have Trump wanting to issue a gold standard, crypto standard. So you need some type of financial event to have the Great Reset. You know, the Great Reset, the Green New Deal, all of that stuff. How do you get that? You need an event. You need a financial event. What can that event will be? A financial recession. But how? A cyber attack. Somebody, the banks know, okay, this is our last day. We got to crush it. So this, basically, you have a bunch of cyber attacks. They basically attack themselves so that they can have the excuse as to why the economy crashed, or they can blame it on Trump's tariffs or whatever. So something massive is going to happen like that. And that's why I think Monero could be a big benefactor, because, you know, even good guys, bad guys, deep state, patriots, whoever, you know, they don't want other bad guys or good guys looking at tracking their, you know, their finances, right? Because if they're doing deals, you know, like if somebody hired a military contractor for $10 million for this, and they didn't want the CIA to know, maybe they use Monero. I don't know. Like, I'm just making, you know what I mean? Like, who knows? But let's listen.
Private transactions. Well, there wasn't one until now.
It's all about cyber attacks, right? So if we have financial data breaches, these billionaires, they need a way to protect themselves. They need a way to protect their finances, their money. So what do?
Meet Monero. Monero is a secure, private, untraceable currency. With Monero, you are your own bank. Only you control and are responsible for your funds. Monero is private. This means businesses can keep their suppliers in secret, as well as citizens escape government repressions and nosy neighbors or crooks. Monero can also be selectively transparent, and you can choose who you want to see the transactions. Monero is dynamically scalable, which makes it very different from a Bitcoin. Also, the block reward will never drop below 0.3 XMR, and the nominal inflation will stay at 0.3 XMR per minute. Monero is decentralized. It has an active development community with more than 30 contributors. Take back control over your finance.
So there you go. You know, a little bit of a video just to kind of see it here. Just looking at the website about Monero. Just looking here. Monero's electronic cash allows fast and expensive payments here. I don't know, man. I'm just looking at this here, and I'm not saying it's the you know, Monero's been around a while, and I've always kind of like not really cared about it. But that damn chart, man, the chart is like, why? Like, I wish THETA looked like that. I wish XRP, well, XRP already did that. I wish, you know, ADA looked like that, or I wished Matic looked like that, or Filecoin looked like that. No, but it's Monero. Why Monero? Like, Monero's an old man, boring coin. But is it really? I don't know. You know, it's kind of one of those things where it's just, you know, it never had its breakout moment. So maybe that could be coming now. Anyways, I think that's enough for that. So, yeah, here we are with Monero. And again, when I overlay that with XRP, where's XRP at? We'll do... You could see they're very identical in the way they look here. So Let me take it off that. So there we go. Now I can move it here. Okay, so yeah, you could see the way it's matched up. So this is XRP right here, right? And then look at Monero. It's the same thing, right? It fits like a glove. So Monero's way down here. And look at XRP. XRP blasted off, but Monero is barely waking up. So what I'm saying is I keep talking about it, saying maybe this is a big opportunity, right? And this is not financial advice. I'm not saying go get Monero. I'm just saying, for myself, it looks like a really good opportunity simply because it's been through hell, right? First of all, it never went into price discovery. It had a very shallow retrace, right? When Bitcoin had a bear market, Solana had a bear market. Look at the difference between the two bear markets between this coin and, for example, when we look at Solana, look at the difference here. It's right here, new price scale. You can see right here, Monero went up and a retrace, and then it kind of flagged out. Versus Solana went up and it had a massive crash. Look at that crash. That is a vicious crash. Versus Monero just basically flagging out. And then Monero went sideways. It developed a platform, but Solana basically didn't. So this move we see here from Solana right now is just a snapback. It's a reaction following this big crash. Versus something like Monero, it's organically coming down. And it takes a lot longer. It's more painful. It's more grueling, but at the same time, it's going to be more worth it because what it's doing is it's creating structure. Like, you ever see those castings of an anthill where people take molten aluminum, they pour it down an anthill, and then they carve it out, and you can see all the intricate details of an anthill or how it looks. Basically the ant colonies, and there's all these different tunnels and passageways. It looks like a very crazy thing, and that's kind of what the price is doing. It's creating its anthill, it's creating its empire here. So, and this is all a platform to blast upon, right? Think of this as a rocket ship, and this is your platform down here, and you need a big platform to sort of blast off from. So, and you can say, well, here's the most important part. Well, if Monero breaks out, which I think it will, the most important part of this structure, of all of this up here, is when it comes back down, guys. When it comes back down in its bear market, all of this is going to be worth it. People say, oh, it's taking forever, it's not doing anything, blah, 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 blah. But this is a good thing because when it comes back down, it's got a lot of super, super strong support down here. Same thing with XRP. XRP is going to have a big bear market soon. So once it does, right, let's say we pop up higher, well, guess what? We have all of this structure down here. So then when we come down, we can hold it as opposed to just continuing to crash, right? Because it took 7 years to build this structure right here. And now once we break out, we're going to come down. It's going to be 7 years worth of concrete and steel versus 6 months worth of concrete and steel. You know what I mean? So anyways, I went on long enough. That'll do it for this video. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Remember, just my ideas, not financial advice. Let's see how it plays out. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.